Hey, greetings. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday night. Welcome to my channel. I'm Phil. Thank you for being here. Running 2 minutes behind, but that's okay. I'm really glad to be here. I missed it last week, as you may have noticed, those of you that are loyal subscribers. I was out watching the movie Goat. And what else has been going on? I've been dealing with various car problems, and just a lot of life has been going on, a lot of life stuff, and so it's kind of thrown me off my balance a slight bit. I'm trying to get my music sounding right here. Let's get this. Let's just maybe lower it a little bit. All right. Look who's here. It is Sam OK, one of my YouTube subscribers, or channel members, I guess I should say. Channel members and subscriber. You two things at the same time. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Man, it does feel really, really good to be back. I feel like I've missed this more than I should have so far this year, and I do apologize so much for that. I'm going to do my best to not let that keep happening, but sometimes these things happen, right? So what has been going on besides life stuff? Let's talk about art stuff. That's why we're here, right? Let's see. Where did I leave off last? I don't know. Let me see. What was I doing last time I was here with y'all? Oh, that's right. That's right. At the beginning of this month, we did a little 18-year anniversary of Retail Sunshine celebration live stream. We did that, and so I guess I really haven't had a regular live stream this month yet. That's crazy. Here we are on the 20th of February, and I haven't had a regular live draw. That's kind of wild. So I'm looking at my list of live draws, and the last one that was normal was January 23rd when I was working on scene 56. So okay, so that's good. So progress has been made. I am currently on scene 57, and I do want to talk a little bit about that before I get to the drawing, before I change the camera angle and start penciling away. Let's talk a little bit about scene 57 and what exactly is happening with new ad day. So basically, I'm on the third to the last page of my storyboards from the original 24 pages of storyboards. The part that I'm on right now is scene 57, and scene 57 is it's kind of this thing where, okay, so I've got these cluster of scenes that one of them dovetails into the next one, and so it's, even though they're separate scenes, they sort of feel like they're grouped together. So that's what's happening right now. So on scene 57, when scene 57 ends, it ends mid-sentence for Spike, who's one of my characters. He appears very briefly in the very beginning of the cartoon, and then he goes away for the whole cartoon, and then he comes back at the end and kind of is there as like a bit of a bookend, right? So scene 57, he is talking, or he is providing the voice for Puppet, which is a little hand puppet character that has been with the comics pretty much since the beginning. And he's talking as the hand puppet, but then he transitions out of the hand puppet voice into his voice. And so scene 58, which is the next one I'll be working on, is like he reveals that he walks out from behind my main character, the new guy, and you see, oh, okay, this hand puppet is being voiced by this lunatic. And so scene 57 and scene 58 kind of go together like that. So I'm telling you all this as to tell you that this part of the cartoon is there's been moments where I'll have like a section that seems to stand out as like it's a little bit more involved. It takes me longer to do it, a little more complex, and so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on scene 57, and then soon to be scene 58, and those two together kind of become like a two-parter. Then I've got 59, 60, and 61, And I'm looking at my story. I keep looking over here because I'm looking at my storyboards on the wall to sort of like keep track of what I'm telling you. And so those 3 scenes are relatively quick by comparison. They're going to be pretty quick. So I think when I get to that section, that's going to feel, it's going to be a little bit of like a break. Those should be pretty easy. But when I'm done with those, then I'll be on the last page of storyboards from the original 24 pages. Now that last page is a little bit complicated because it involves a crowd scene. And if you know anything about animation, you know crowd scenes they're kind of complicated because you have a lot of moving parts. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know how many characters I'm going to have on screen. It's going to be one of those things where I probably focus on like 4 or 5, and then I'll look at it all and go, I could probably add somebody else right there. And then I'll go back and I'll add another one. And I'll probably just keep doing that until it feels like a appropriately complicated crowd scene. Now for crowd scenes, they don't all have to be moving in a complicated way. I could have a character that's just sort of standing there and not doing anything, but because they're standing there, it adds more pieces to what your eyes can go and look towards. I don't know yet, and that's sort of what I want to talk about tonight. Oh, let me look at my comments. I'm so sorry. I've been avoiding the comments. Oh, Dan Sandoval is here on Facebook. Dan is actually the voice actor. So in the room tonight, folks, I've got the voice actor for my main character, which is really cool. Dan pops in every now and then. Somebody named Marisa Hua on YouTube is saying hi, hello. Somebody named Doc Plays 99 is on YouTube saying hello to you. And Dan is saying I'm cutting scenes every day for Planet Paradise. Okay, cool. Dan is working on his own animation project aside from providing voice talents for mine. I know he's got his own thing going, so you could check him out. Look up Dan Sandoval on YouTube and I think on Facebook. You could probably, I'm sure he's posting things there too. And thank you also, if you're liking my video on YouTube right now, thank you. I can't see the likes until later, but if you're on Facebook right now and you're sending me likes, I can see those. So thank you to Scott McMahon on Facebook, and thank you to Rachel Meinke and also Dan Sandoval. So thanks so much for the love over on Facebook. So I want to talk a little bit about just how this project has snowballed. Okay, so like right now, scene 57, honestly, it's going longer than I thought, and I'm going to tell you why it's going longer than I thought. A number of reasons. So one is I've got this puppet character, and this puppet character pops up and starts like dancing around the screen, and yes, there's dialogue happening, but before the puppet starts talking, I'm like, this is my puppet. This is my pretend puppet on my hand right now. Before the puppet starts talking, he does this thing where he's like bouncing like this and jumping around the screen, but like behind the shoulder of New Guy. So New Guy can't see him doing this. He's sort of like, sneaking behind him and being very mischievous. Well, I have that in the storyboards, but I didn't know how long I was going to have him dancing around. So when I made the storyboards, it's just one little panel of him like doing this. And what I've found is that sometimes when you have a section where there's no dialogue and it's pantomime, there's no rules, right? You could just make it go as long as you wanted, obviously within reason. You don't want to make something that's boring or whatever. But I'm kind of milking it a little bit, right? Like I have him kind of doing this little thing, not for a very long time, but I have it for longer than just like, hi, I'm here. I have him doing a little bit of stuff. And so I didn't know how long I was going to do that for. So as it turns out, I'm doing it for long enough that I'm still working on it. Part of why I'm doing that also is because I really love this puppet character. It's a very special character to me. It's been there from basically the beginning. And I'm looking at this as like, this is kind of his one moment in this cartoon to shine, even though he's just a puppet. This is like the one chance I've got in this cartoon to really sort of show what his movements are like, and I want to take advantage of that time and do that, because New Guy has had the whole cartoon to get to know you guys. You haven't watched it yet, but I'm saying he's had all 7 minutes of this cartoon to act and, you know, and behave and run around, and you can see him from head to toe, and you can get extreme close-ups and extreme far shots. So there's a lot of time spent on New Guy. So when I have another character popping in for a little bit, I'm trying to give them a decent amount of screen time, enough to give you a sense of how they behave. The real Dan Sandoval over on YouTube. Okay, so he came over to YouTube. He just said, everything you said about production is accurate, 100. Now I exist in 2 places on the interwebs. There you go. Thank you, Dan, for being here in multiple spots. And also, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I know some of you may be new to my channel. You're probably wondering, what am I talking about? I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. So I'll give you a brief introduction for those of you who are still new to my channel. My name is Phil. I'm an independent animator and cartoonist in Austin. I've been drawing this series called Retail Sunshine. You can see stuff behind me for 18 years. Currently, I'm animating a 7-minute cartoon on paper. Yes, on paper. Usually during these Friday night live streams, I turn my camera toward my drawing board about halfway through my live stream, and I get to work, and you can kind of see what I'm doing. But in the beginning of the live streams, I usually like to take a few minutes just to talk to you folks. So that's what's going on right now. Now you're all caught up to speed. I appreciate you being patient. Dan says, I am still so honored to be part of your project. My first role cast as an animated project. I'm so happy to be that first for you. I do feel a little bit bad because you guys recorded the voices back in like 2021. Excuse me. And I remember telling the actors, it's gonna be a while. Thanks for contributing your voices. It's gonna be a while before you get to see a finished cartoon. And I have stayed true to that statement of it's going to be a while, because as it turns out, it's been a while and I'm still working on it. But I will tell you that my goal for 2026 is to finish all rough pencil animation this year. That's my goal. You can hold me to that if you like. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen because there's maybe 60 seconds of animation left to go. And last year, I did about 2.5 minutes worth of animation in the year 2025. Okay. So I think I can probably do it. But what I wanted to tell you was, I say probably because this project keeps surprising me. I keep finding ways to complicate things and find new ways to try to impress myself, I guess is what I'm going to say. So when I have Puppet dancing around on screen, Puppet is partially made out of fabric. Now, I don't have to spend a lot of time animating fabric and making it look like fabric, but I want to. I just want to. And so I haven't really, I guess, like as this project has gone on, I have found ways to go, gosh, wouldn't it be cool if I did something like this here? Wouldn't that be neat if I pushed myself and tried to do something that I really haven't done too much of? And so as it happens, Scene 57 is one of those moments where I'm trying to make fabric and yarn move on screen as close to fabric and yarn as I can make it, right? So that when you look at the character bouncing around, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like a character that is made out of fabric. So that's why it's taking me a little bit of time. I am going to be doing some in-betweening tonight on Scene 57. I already picked out a few areas that I wanted to do like before I went live tonight. And in fact, back here on my scanner, I have one of the drawings I finished before I went live. And so this drawing here is just one of the in-betweens. This is the hand puppet I've been talking about this whole time. And then I'm going to be doing an in between this drawing and in between this drawing. So he looks pretty simple, right? But the trick is to get him to move around on screen as if he were actual, fabric and stuff like that. And Puppet is made of buttons for eyes. His skin or his face and his hands are made out of burlap, and then his t-shirt is made out of just like regular t-shirt fabric, and then his hair is yarn. And something that I will tell you guys, I think I've mentioned it on this channel before. Sometimes I think changes are okay to be made if it's going to better suit the project you're working on. And here's what I mean by that. In the comic strip, whenever I would draw a hand puppet, the bottom of the fabric would end in just like the bottom of a t-shirt, right? It would just be like a kind of a circle, a rounded edge. Okay, it would just end like a t-shirt would end, and that was fine. I didn't mind that because the whole idea was he is mimicking Spike, the character that uses puppet. It's supposed to be like a miniature version of him. It's like him in puppet form. But as I was drawing this scene and I was making him bounce around, I sort of realized ending the shirt like that really didn't give me, really didn't give me a lot of movement that I found appealing. What I mean by that is, you may have noticed that the bottom of his shirt here is not rounded. It is cut into triangles. And I did that because I wanted to make it so that when he moves from side to side on the screen, there's a kind of like swinging tassel effect that I could animate. It was something that I think I've thought about it in the past, but never did much with it. But when I started doing this scene, I was like, you know, what would make this a lot better? It'd make it better if I had his like bottoms of his shirt frayed, so that I could kind of track the movement as like little segments. It's harder to do that when the bottom of the shirt is just the bottom of shirt. And I'm sure there's a way to do it that would look convincing with that, but it's just not as interesting. It's a little bit is because I want it to be more interesting, and a little bit of it is to kind of help me have something to animate. The other reason why I did it is he's kind of like a court jester character, the puppet, and I, in my mind, associate that little like triangle cut. I'm sure there's a name for it if you're somebody who's into fashion. I don't know the term, but I think of like medieval fashion sense, or at least whatever I have seen of medieval fashion sense. That's what I think of. I think of this like triangle cut, zigzag cut design. So for me, that's a medieval thing. And so by putting that on the bottom of his shirt, it's my way of sort of saying this is a court jester type of a character. Do I expect anybody in the audience to look at that and think, hey, that looks like a court jester character? No, it's just, but I think it's like, these are the things you need to do as a creative person to create meaning for you. And then what's cool about it is it becomes an interesting detail later on. And then, you know, whether or not it communicates that idea, I guess doesn't really matter, as long as it means something to you. And then you've got a fun anecdote you can tell people later on and say, this is why I did this, right? Sam OK over on YouTube says, I'm over here now because I accidentally closed the vertical and don't know how to get back to it. Well, you know what? You're in the same one. I mean, maybe for you, you're not in the same one, but for me, you're in the same one. Dan on YouTube says, 23 for me. You are on par for the course last you estimated. Oh, okay, right. So Dan, when he says 23, he's talking about he recorded his lines for me in 2023. In 2021, I actually had another actor hired or chosen, or whatever word you want to choose, to play new guy, a different actor, and that individual did not work out, and so then I was without a character for my main character, and then Dan kind of came my way. He was referred to me by a mutual friend. And so I ended up recording his lines much later. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I think I did tell you, Dan, it's going to be a few years before I have this thing done. So, you know, and I do think sometimes, gosh, do I want to go a little bit faster? Do I want to push myself? And I am pushing myself, but as far as going faster is concerned, I don't. This has been a balance this whole time. It's been a balance between trying to make deadlines that I'm setting for myself versus I want it to still be fun for me. So I do work on it almost every day. I don't know that I want to push harder because I don't want to make it something that I don't enjoy. Now, if I go and make another cartoon after this, I think what'll be great about this cartoon is it will have already given me a sort of timeline, and I can go, okay, this is how long it took to do a 7-minute cartoon. Got it. Now, is there anything I can do to my process to like make that happen faster? I don't know, but I do think going through this experience is only going to help me for the next one. Whatever the next experience is, I'm going to be building off of this. So anyway, all right. So now that you guys have heard me ramble on for a number of minutes, you probably have realized that this is a interactive live stream. I do this every Friday night. And so if you're here, I would love for you to say hi and let me know that you're hanging out with me. I won't put you on the spot if you don't want me to, I suppose. But I do appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around now and get to some drawing. See if I can get my camera turned down a bit. Let me get my drawing board. Now, if you're watching this on the vertical on the vertical version, it's a little more difficult for me to make the camera work for you folks. So that's why it usually takes me a minute before I get this going. On the landscape live stream, it's no big deal. I'm already there. But on the vertical one, it's a little bit tricky. Dan just said, I'm trying to turn an 8-minute cartoon into a 1-minute cartoon, and that takes forever for editing. Oh, yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Are you trying to like edit down something that's already animated? What do you mean by that? Sam OK said, what's our musical selection going to be this week? Well, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's a very 16-bit sounding musical selection. I'm currently playing music from Alien 3 for the Sega Genesis, and but I'll probably switch to some other music here. So let me switch things to some rock and roll stuff from a group called Food for Feet. I've played them before, but I'm going to play them again. It's been a little while since I've played them. Here we go. Fun. Yes, I agree. Hey, Frank Gonzalez over on Facebook. I appreciate you being here. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn the camera this way. All right. This is about as good as I could do, okay? If you're watching the vertical live stream, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. Let me see if I can pull this. Can I pull it toward me? Let's try that. All right, let's see if I can get this going. Dan just said, yes, kind of with some reanimation and new everything else. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to be adding an in-between to this drawing here. You can see me as I'm flipping him back and forth. He's moving a little bit, but I want it to be a little more subtle than that. So I'm going to add one in-between. And this is in-between drawing 60 and 61. All right, let's get my light going here for a second. All right, welcome everybody. If you're just now coming in, I do appreciate you being here. I don't know if I'll be done with Scene 57 by next Friday. I don't know. I'm gonna try. There's a chance. There's a chance I'll be on the next scene by the time you guys come back. There's a chance. I don't know. Because this sort of took me longer than I thought it would. That's kind of been the theme. I'm not going to spend my whole time tonight with the light on. I just wanted to get a couple details in there to work off of, and then I will turn the light off and get back to things as usual. All right, let's just get a couple more things going here. Let's see. All right, let's turn this off for just a minute. All right, this gives me a little something to work on. I might flip these actually. Let me flip these around 1 second. Let's get this first. Get that bit first. I'm flipping those drawings because I'm favoring this pose. I'm working more off of this pose than I am the other one, and it was hanging in the back, so it was making it too annoying to get to. Let's turn this up a little bit. Hey, Bayou Bomber, how's it going? Been a while. Nice to have you back. This has been an interesting part of the cartoon because I'm trying to stay relatively close to the model of this character, but because he's made of like parts that are put together, sometimes I try to like make things not be perfect because then it might look like the parts are moving around on their own. Hello, Bob, one MAVR. Oh, well, thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate that. I'll retire. I'll retire. Retire into uncertainty. The plantation, the rage began the sensation with one last embrace. I feel the script from over. I might move this back a little bit. Let's clean that up a little bit. Hey, Bayou. If you have stuff with secondary action, you draw the frames for the main body first, then the flowy stuff out. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. And I've had more secondary action in scene 57 than maybe the whole cartoon. And I think that's why it's been taking me longer, is because I'm trying to go back and do more secondary action stuff. And it's something that I'm not perfect. I am still learning. And that's one of the things this project has taught me, is that I have a lot more to learn. So whenever I see an opportunity to try to get better at something like that, I take that opportunity. And that's usually when it slows me down a little bit. But that's fine, though, because it's like forcing me to be better. So that is exactly what I've been doing, is taking more time for secondary action. I want to have his eyes. Let's see. I don't want to do that. Well, I think I do want to move his eyes, actually. Let's move his eyes a little bit more. Now that I'm thinking about it. All right. Bayou Bomber says, yeah, there's a number of the 12 principles which take a little more time. I consider them more advanced. They require special care. Yes, they do require special care. You're correct. And that has been what I've been doing. I've been giving them special care. Hey there, Vinny Paul over on Facebook. How you doing, buddy? Thanks to Vinny Paul and Maria Rusu and Jordan Benans Hillard for the likes on Facebook. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I'm gonna move his eyes a little bit further to the side. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, there we go. This is better. I won't say that I feel like I'm like a pro at it, but I will say I'm pretty happy with the secondary animation I've done on this scene. It's maybe a little more subtle than I was going for, but I don't think my original plan was to even have it in the first place, or at least not as much as I do have it. So I don't know. I feel like I've risen to the challenge, but I'm still adding in between. So maybe I'll do more. Maybe I will do more. It is a pretty brief part of the cartoon. It's like it's longer than nothing, but it's kind of on screen for a decent few seconds. So I'm trying to make it so that while it's on screen, it's making an impact. That's what I'm trying to do. Although you could say that about the entire cartoon. And what's been complicated is I treat these I treat his eyes, his button eyes. I treat them as kind of like a 3D object. So I'm trying to sort of have them rotate a little bit in 3 dimensions, but there's no 3 dimensions here. It's only 2 dimensions. So creating that illusion of 3 dimensions it's fun. It's also very tricky. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm adding some like dimension to these button eyes just a little bit. It's subtle. I mean, I'm hoping it creates the effect that I'm going for. And I don't want him to be like falling apart. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just want him to have a little bit more like looseness to him, so that you get the impression that this was like a homemade puppet. See, if you look at his tassels at the bottom there, you see how I've got him swaying when I flip like that. That's what I'm saying. Like it gives me more freedom to kind of have that motion, and that's what I wanted. But see his hair, which is just pieces of yarn, they have the same thing. They have the same effect. So it's kind of like he's got like the fringes on the top of his head and the fringes on the bottom of his body. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but if you're somebody who likes to go to conventions, April, I think it's 11th and 12th. I'm going to be at this year's Staple, Austin. I'm very happy because I love this show. It's my favorite convention. And this year, I'm going to be on a panel about animation. So if you are able to come to the show, you should definitely come to my panel. I shouldn't say my panel. It'll be the panel that I'm appearing on. It's not just me. There's like a handful of us animator people that are all going to be on this panel, which is great because you're going to hear some very different perspectives. And then I'll have a table in the main hall. So if you want to go and like buy a book from me or some merch or whatever, and just like chat with me about cartoon stuff, I'd love to see you, and that would be really great. It's going to be a great time. Let's see. I think I want to fix that a little better. Yeah, that's better. Let's clear that up. Let's see, is that working? I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not doing it for me. No, 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 no. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just make them all bending. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay, so you can see like when his hair goes from here to here, it like kind of spreads out. That's when he comes to a complete stop. But before that, the frame before that, see he's still pulling his head to the right, so it's got to pull the yarn. It's got to pull the yarn a little bit because of the the drag from the wind, of how fast he's moving. It makes sense, I promise. Or it makes sense to me only. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. It makes sense. I've thought about this a lot. All right. I think that's probably good enough for this frame. Now, I'm not going to like scan it to check it, but I'm going to trust that that's going to work. Let me add a little reg mark there. All right, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and switch gears a little bit here. Move this off to, actually, let me put a number on this one. All right, so let's move those drawings off to the side for just a minute. Now I'm going to bring in a little something different. Trust the process, says Vinny. I agree. So these are a couple drawings of New Guy. Now this is from the same scene. You have to remember I've got two characters on screen at the same time. They're sort of trading off action. One is moving while the other one is not. So New Guy is mostly just kind of not doing very much. But he is currently turning his head to look in the direction of where Puppet is. And so I have him, you can kind of see me having him turn his head a little bit, just a little bit. But I want it to be a little more gradual than that. So I'm going to add an in-between. That is my plan. Vinny says, have you ever forgotten to number the sheets? Oh, yeah, man. I forget all the time. And then I have a stack of unnumbered drawings that I have to go back and look at my computer screen and match up the drawing to where it lands on the timeline. It's not fun. Nope. But I'm really glad when I do number them all, because then it's like, great. I know where I have to, I know where in my stack I have to go. Hey, thanks to Steph Schultz over on Facebook for the Care React. I do appreciate that. And thanks also to Emmanuel Jaquez And if I didn't say it already, Frank Gonzalez, thanks so much for the likes on Facebook. If you're giving me a like on YouTube, thank you also. I just can't see it during the live stream. I can see it later on. So thank you in advance. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this one. All right, now I've got my kind of basis for this drawing. Hey, thanks to Morty Morton Ang Ang over on Facebook for the heart. I do appreciate that very much. Thank you. Oh, it's a little too close. A little too close. Let's not have it be that close. All right, let's try to clean up his mouth a little bit. Oh, look at Cash on YouTube saying draw. Double dipping. What does double dipping mean? Humbum. What does that mean? I know when you're eating potato chips, you're not supposed to be double dipping. And I'm definitely not doing that. I don't know if I want to flatten it up a little bit more. Oh, double dipping. I'm watching YouTube stream in one room and Facebook in another. Oh, it's Vinny. Oh, okay, Vinny. I appreciate it. I forgot that was your YouTube account, buddy. All right, let's see here. I'm actually going to flip these around. So I can focus on getting his hair correctly. Oh, I like your little stickers there. I like those stickers, Vinny. I don't know. How do you do those? There we go. All right, so that's pretty good, I would say. I might do another in between later, in between these two drawings, but I won't know that until I look at it again later. All right, that's going to do it for, I think, the in-betweens tonight. Just about. This scene is already in the 80s of drawings. So I don't really know how many more there's going to be, but it's turning out to be a little bit one of the longer scenes. I didn't go into it knowing that. It just sort of became that way. And actually, I'm okay with it because I'm having fun just making my little puppet guy dance around. It's like a moment of silly fun. Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that. Yeah, I've got like the drawings here. This is the scene. So like you can see if I do some flipping here. Oh. Let me try that again. Hold on. They're not really in order at the moment, but some of them are. It gives you a little bit of an idea of what I've been doing. So that's going to be I'll probably label that real quick before I forget. All right, I think I'm good with that. So I'm going to start. Cash is asking, can I verify you? What do you mean, can I verify you, Cash? I need a little help. What are you talking about? What do you mean by that? You mean make it so that whenever you comment, it's like automatically allowing you to comment? Is that what you mean? Well, we have made it to another hour, folks. And yeah, I'm feeling optimistic about getting this scene, if not completed by next Friday, very, very, very close. So come back next week. I may be on to scene 58. It's possible. Yeah, and thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed hanging out with me, please give the channel a subscribe and this video a like. Share it with your friends. I've got a ton of content on my channel. You might find something that you enjoy in the meantime until you're waiting until my next Friday night live draw. Vinny, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I miss you too. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I do this for 1 hour every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. So if you came in late and you want to, be here for more, of course, you can go back and rewatch this video, but just make sure you set your alarm. And then next week, you'll be here right at the beginning of it. Also, if you subscribe and turn on the notification bell at the bottom, you'll get notified whenever I go live. So you don't have to even remember about it. You'll just get notified. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you, Sam OK. If you want to get your comments featured on screen, just like Sam OK, they are one of my channel members, and it's like $1 for a whole month. So, think about being a channel member. And if you haven't already, please visit retailsunshine.com. You can subscribe for free there. That's where I post behind the scenes photos and updates. And I'm building a little community there of people. So I would love to have you join me at retailsunshine.com. It'd be great to have you there. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week. Yeah, come join the cool kids, says Sam OK. Bye, Cash. Thanks for being here. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Have a great weekend, actually.